Kruger National Park has appointed its first ever female head ranger, Cathy Dreyer, who is nicknamed the Rhino Whisperer because of her love for rhinos. Is going to start her new job in May.
A big job it is. To talk about her appointment and the challenges that lie ahead, Dreyer joins us now live from the beautiful Addo Elephant National Park in the Eastern Cape, where she's currently the conservation manager. Cathy, thank you so much for joining us. Before we talk about the challenges and the big job ahead, I know this has been your life's work, a career filled with all kinds of accolades and travel. You being the first female head ranger of the Kruger National Park, it's a pretty big deal. Has it all sunk in yet?
Marcel. Yeah, I think it's slowly starting to sink in. I fortunately have previously worked in Kruger, so I have some idea of what to expect, but it has been rather overwhelming. And as you said, I'm currently still in Addo trying to get my head around wrapping things up here, the big move back to Kruger. But yeah, for the most part, I'm incredibly excited.
Cathy, hi, it's Gareth Edwards. I thought I'd like to climb in here if I could. I was so looking forward to hearing from you. The head ranger position at Kruger Park, from my side, congratulations, comes with a lot more than just walking around in the field and managing senior game rangers. You're essentially going to be in charge of every conservation effort in a massive national park, so arguably the biggest in Africa, and your love of rhino, no doubt, is going to be front of mind, and we all know the issues of the rhino poaching in that park. I imagine for you that's top of mind. How do you think you're going to get on top of it?
Yeah, morning, Gareth. I think one of the biggest challenges is going to be how to strike that balance. Obviously, rhino poaching and the rhino management in Kruger is a major issue. But as you mentioned, it is the biggest national park in our country. And there are various other conservation management challenges that also need to be addressed. And I think striking a balance between those two is probably going to be one of the hardest challenges. And then also just to take care and look after the well-being. There's an incredible amount of dedicated and passionate men and women that risk their lives every day in the Kruger National Park for our heritage. And their well-being is something that's also very important to me. So I think, yeah, the biggest challenge is how to balance all of these things. But I think I'm certainly not taking on this challenge on my own. There are a number of different departments, different national parks have an incredible amount of experience that I will work very closely with. And I'm also following in the footsteps of Mr. Ken Mag. So it's also building on what has already been done, because there is an incredible amount of work that has been done specifically related to rhino poaching. We tend to focus a lot on the negative, but there is a lot of positive things that has happened.
Cathy, talk to us a little bit about this nickname, the Rhino Whisperer. Where did this passion for your work with the rhinos come from?
Yeah, well, I started my conservation career, strangely enough, in Addo over 20 years ago, looking after and caring for rhino in the park. And it was a stage when Addo was moving quite a lot of animals out of the park and bringing in a lot of rhino. And whenever you do these really long translocations, you have rhino that are either being flown or driven by road for sometimes more than 48 hours. So you need to actually get them to a stage where they are very habituated and very comfortable being in your presence, so that you can feed them by hand and you can water them by hand and manage them while they are in a confined crate. And I guess in trying to habituate them and get them used to me, I often used to read to them or talk to them, play the radio to them. And after a while, they really, really do get, they build a connection with you. And I guess that's where the name came from, constantly reading or talking to the rhino. And I very quickly learned that if you do get this bond with them and you connect with them, you kind of have to go everywhere they go. So I've been fortunate in my career to take rhino to Malawi, the Delta, Tanzania, all over Africa, simply just by forming a connection with them. And yeah, it's sort of a name that has stuck over the years. And I think everybody who knows me knows that rhino, and specifically black rhino, is something that I'm very passionate about.
Cathy, I've got about 30 seconds with you, if you don't mind. It'll be the last question in our conversation. We wish we could speak all day.
I might squeeze in another one.
I might squeeze in one more. Female rangers, generally on the ground, at the coalface, if I can use that cliche. We are starting to see more and more female rangers, but there still seems to be a lack of will to bring females into the front fight of anti-poaching in South Africa. I imagine that's something you're going to want to take a look at, and now with the platform you've got and your new title, you can actually affect that kind of change.
Yeah, you know, Gareth, I think there have been massive strides already made in getting more females involved in conservation, and not only conservation, in all spheres of life. And I certainly believe that there are no limitations, and there's nothing we can't achieve as long as you have the right headset and the mindset, and you're dedicated and passionate. So yes, there certainly are more females that are entering the field of conservation, and I think there is more scope for females. And like I said, it's finding the right people that are dedicated and passionate, because it all starts with a passion and a love for conservation. And it is definitely something that I think we can improve on in the industry as a whole.
Cathy, one of the pictures that caught my eye is you receiving the Tusk Award in 2016, the Tusk Award for Conservation in Africa, and you received it from Sir David Attenborough, who I'm a huge fan of. And I know you say that that was one of the highlights of your life. But it all started out far more simply. You studied nature conservation at CPUT. We spoke about the importance of women in conservation, but you're also a woman of colour. The pressure that comes with being the face, you're now going to be one of the faces of one of the most important nature conservation parks in the world. Is there an understanding of how important it is for your face to be the one that young girls of colour can look up to and say, I can also do that?
Yeah, the Tusk Award, it was an incredible privilege, not only to win the award, but just to be nominated for an award of that accolade, and certainly was a definite highlight in my conservation career. As far as being the face, I think, as you said, this job does come to the forefront, and it does come with a lot of pressure. But here, all I hope to do is to show people that really there is nothing that you can't do, and there are no limitations. And I think as long as you surround yourself with people that are there to support you, which I'm very fortunate to have had, and I know I will have in Kruger, to just, not to place any limitations on yourself, whether it be race or color or gender. I hope to be an example of what you can achieve just with hard work and dedication and surrounding yourself with the right people.
Well, amen to that. We can only wish you everything of the best, and do keep us posted on the great and exciting work that you're going to be doing with your team at the Kruger National Park. Cathy Dreyer there, the first woman head ranger appointed at the Kruger National Park.